A very good morning to all of you. Am I audible to you? Please tell me so we can start your session. Am I audible to you? Okay. So I think everybody is here, so we can start your session now. Okay. So very good morning to all of you. We are going to start your session now for the BEEE subject, and we're going to discuss about unit number one, that is the DC circuit. So can you tell me that what we had discussed in your last session? Can you tell me what we had discussed in your last session? Do you remember that? Yes, exactly. The KCL and KVL we discussed in the last session. So I quickly go through that, the theoretical content, what we discussed in the KCL and KVL. So KCL, that is indicating the base of the principle on the conservation of the charge, and the statement say that the algebraic sum of the current entering a node is equal to zero. With that, we discuss one example of five branch which is connected to the junction or the node, and we identify this equation that the sum of the current entering to the node, it is equal to the sum of current leaving the node. Then after we discuss about the KVL, the Kirchhoff voltage law, that we discussed also in the last session. So KVL, it is the based on the principle of conservation of energy, and the statement said what? It is said that the algebraic sum of the all voltages around a closed loop path, that is you can say or closed path or closed loop, it is equal to zero, and that we discuss using this diagram. So in this diagram we identify there are two voltage source and three voltage drop we had. So if you apply the KVL in this closed loop path, then we get the sum of the voltage drop is equal to the sum of voltage rises. So then after we discuss about the example, right? So this example we discussed in the last session. Are you remember? Yes or no? This example we discussed in the last session, and we identify the current flowing through that each resistance in the circuit. So this thing we discussed also in the last session. See, this is the steps formation. So first of all, we identify the mesh or the node in the junction. Then after we apply the KVL at the, you can say that in the loop, there are two equations we identify as per the diagram represented, and simultaneously equation we solved, and we identify the current I1 and I2 from that two equation. So this thing we discussed in our last session, right? And uh, do we does we completed this example in the last session? Is it completed or not? You can tell me. Does we completed this example in the last session? Yes or no? Okay. So in this example, we seen that there are three loops, or sorry, three branch and two junction we had. We also apply two independent loops over here. So this is the discussion what we had in the last session. So we identify the equations from the loop, and we identify the value of current I1, I2, and I3. So this is the discussion what we had in our last session, and this is our last steps we identified. Now, today we are going to start with this very simple example here. This is your example question, and you have to identify the voltage V1 that is given over here in this circuit diagram. So, first of all, tell me, is there any junction here in this diagram or in this example? Do you identify any junction here? Can you identify the junction in this thing? And how many voltage source we have? Can you identify it? Can you identify how many source we have in this circuit? Yes, there are three source given over here and two resistance given over here with their element, or you can say that the current which is flowing through that resistance. Understood? So we have to identify the voltage V1 here, and we can apply the KVL. Yes or no? So now the first thing, that when you identify the V1 here, first of all you have to see this 100 ohm resistance given over here between the C and B point, along with their current flowing through that resistance given. And over here you will have a 200 ohm resistance, and the current flowing through that 200 ohm resistance, it is given 500 milliampere. So now if you want to apply the KVL here, first of all, what is the statement of KVL? That in the closed loop path or in the closed path circuit, the algebraic sum of all the voltage, if you are doing, then it is equal to 0. That is the statement of the KVL, right? So in this circuit, when we identify the voltage across this 200 ohm resistance, can we apply the Ohm's law here to get the voltage across this A and B terminal? Yes or no? Can we apply the Ohm's law here to get the voltage across this A and B terminal? Because, sorry, A and D terminal, because between these two terminal you will have a 200 ohm resistance only. So when we apply the KVL, sorry, Ohm's law here, what is the Ohm's law equation? Can we write like this? V is equal to IR. So what is the value of current it is flowing? 200 ohm. So sorry, 500 milliampere, that is the current flowing. So can we write like 500 into 10 to minus 3? Yes or no? So if we write here that voltage across 200 ohm resistance, V is equal to I into R. So what is the current flowing through that resistance? It is 500 multiplied by 10 to minus 3 multiplied by 200. So what is the value you are getting here? The voltage across the resistance is how much? Can you tell me? 500 milliampere is given. So it is 500 multiplied by 10 to minus 3 multiplied by 200. So what is the voltage across this point A and D, or voltage across 200 ohm resistance? Yes, it is 100 volt, right? So it is 100 volt across the terminal of A and D. Exactly. So 100 volt here. Now, can we identify the same thing for this 100 ohm resistance, or between this B and C point? Yes or no? So can you identify that what will be the voltage across that B point and C point? That means, can you identify the voltage drop across this 100 ohm resistance here using the Ohm's law again? Yes, I'm getting the answer, that is of 35 volt. So what you have to do, the same thing what we applied, that is V is equal to I into R. So I is equal to what? 350 multiplied by 10 to minus 3 multiply by 100. So how much the voltage we are getting here? 35 volt. So this is a 35 volt across the B and C point. Are you getting up to here? Are you getting up to here or not? We just apply the Ohm's law to get the value of voltage across the resistance because the current is already given. Now, according to the position of this battery source, if we assume that the current it is flowing in this direction, if we assume the current which is flowing in the anti-clockwise direction, so should we give the polarity to this 100 volt and 35 volt here? So positive, negative, positive, negative. Now if we apply the KVL here and if we start with this 100 volt, can we write like this? Plus 100 volt, or if I'm right in the yeah, just a second. So plus 100 volt, right? Then if you reach here, which polarity will come first for D and E? Which polarity will come first, minus or positive? Negative polarity will come first. So can we write like minus 50 volt? Same thing for this another 50 volt. Can we write like this, minus 50? Then if you reach for the 100 ohm resistance here, what will be the polarity will come first? Positive polarity. So can we write like 35 volt minus V1, it is equal to 0. So what is the value of V1 now? What is the value of V1? Can we say it is 35 volt? Your answer is equal to what? 35 volt. Are you getting or not? Yes or no? Are you getting how we calculate this thing? All of you? Okay. So you can see over here, we apply the KVL in this closed loop circuit. So we apply the notation here. So first of all, the voltage between E and D point, that is identified minus 50 volt as per the direction. The voltage between the D and C point, that is again minus 50 volt. The voltage of the point A with respect to E or VAE, that is, you can say that I into R. So it is, yeah, it is actually D. So that you have identified of 100 volt. Similarly, the voltage point between C with respect to B, that is we identify 35 volt. And if you apply the KVL, you will get the answer of V1, it is equal to 35 volt. Are you understand? So shall we go ahead now for the another example? Shall we go ahead now for the another example? Yes or no? Okay. So now this is our another example that you have how many sources over here? Can you tell me? How many sources you have in this one? There are 2 sources and 3 resistance given, right? Now we have to identify the current I1 and I2. That means we have to identify the current by applying the Kirchhoff law. So now in this circuit, suppose we assume the direction of the current here. So first of all, I will consider over here the loop. First of all, there are two loop I'm consider here. See, the loop direction that you can decide by yourself. It is not mandatory that it is having certain rules over here. So if I'm indicated like the current direction, it will over here in the clockwise direction. And over here it is anti-clockwise direction. That I'm going to assume here. Right? I am assuming right now the first loop, it is in the clockwise direction. Second loop will be in the anti-clockwise direction. So the current flowing here, it is I1 in this direction, and the current flowing in this branch, it will be in the I2, right? So what will be the current into this 2 ohm resistance? Can you tell me? This is our junction we have. Let's say this is junction of A and this is of junction of B. So at junction A, if we identify I3 component, what will be the I3 value according to the KCL? Because we have junction here, A point and B point. So if we consider at junction A, if we apply the KCL, then what will be the I3? What will be the I3 component? Yes, Vishwajit, your answer is correct. All other, are you understand what I'm telling over here or what I'm discussing over here? This is the junction at which 3 branches are connected. So if I suppose to assume that current I1 and I2, it is incoming, or you can say that it is towards the node, then I3 will be, you can say that it is away from the node, then what will be the value of I3 here? Can I write I3 is equal to I1 plus I2? Yes or no? So I3 will be equal to what? I3 is equal to I1 plus I2 as we apply the KVL here, KCL here. Now, if we apply the KVL in this first loop, if we apply the KVL in the first loop, if you see the battery source here, it is positive polarity, negative polarity according to the battery terminal. Now if we assume the positive here, negative here for the R1 resistance, same thing for the R3 resistance, positive here, negative here. So if I want to write the equation for the first loop, what I can write? If I want to write over here the equation for the loop number 1, what can I write? Can I write minus 28? Because when you see it is in the clockwise direction rotation, you will have the loop. So minus polarity will come first for the battery source. So it is minus 28 plus, can I write 4I1? From the 4 ohm resistance, the current I1 is flowing. So it is 4I1. And for R2 resistance, it is positive polarity will come first. So R2 is equal to 2 ohm. So it is equal to what? I3 is equal to 0. Can I write like this? Yes or no? For the loop number 1. Tell me if you have any confusion or if you have any doubt here. So can we go ahead now? Yes or no? So if I'm rearrange this equation, what can I write? 4I1 plus 2. What is I3? Can I write I1 plus I1 plus I2? So it is I1 plus I2. It is equal to 28. So if we multiply this 2 into the bracket, 2I1 plus 2I2. So total will be how much? 6I1 plus 2I2 is equal to 28. So this is our equation number 1. Are you getting up to here? If you have any question, please tell me. Are you understand up to here? Yes or no? Now, same thing can we write for the I2 or loop number 2? Can we write loop number 2 here? Just a second. Okay, so if we apply the KVL for the loop number 2, just a second, loop number 2. So if you start, if you can see here, it is in the anti-clockwise direction, loop number 2. So for the B2 component or for the second component here or second loop here, can we write it is minus plus here according to the battery terminal? For R3, it is plus here, minus here, and R2 we already directed with the graph. So you can directly write like this: loop number 2 minus 7 plus, can you write 1 into I2 plus 2 into I3. I3 means what? I1 plus I2 is equal to 0. So if we rewrite this equation, what we can write here? 2I1 plus 3I2 is equal to 7. This is our equation number 2. Are you understand up to here? In loop number 1 and loop number 2, how we'll get this two equation? Yes or no? So now if we simplify this two equation here, see, you will have 6I1 plus 2I2 is equal to 28, and you will have right now 2I1 plus 3I2 is equal to 7. So if we multiply this equation number 2 with the 3 and subtracting from the equation number 1, can we get I2 first? Just a second. So what we are doing right now, we multiply with 3 or multiply by 3 with second equation. So what we are getting? 6I1 plus 9I2 is equal to 21. Yes. And now if we subtracted this equation number 1 and this equation, so what we have now? 6I1 2I2 is equal to 28. And second equation, what we have? If you subtracting this equation, can we write like minus 6I1, or if you multiply with this also with the minus multiplication, you can do the same thing to make the addition. So what is the new value now? See, this is going to be cancelled. 6I1 is going to be cancelled. If we add it together, so over here, what will be the equation now? See, the resistance always start with the positive sign. It is not necessary. According to the direction of the loop, you can assign the positive and negative polarity like this, what I represented. Because of this current I1, it is flowing in this way. I assign positive here, negative here. That's it. And you can see here also I2, which is flowing in this direction from right to left. So in that way, I assign positive and negative. That's it. So now if we doing the calculation here, 2i2 minus 9i2. So can we write like over here it is minus 7i2 component, and 28 minus 21. So can we write it is 7. So what is I2 now? What is the value of I2? Can we write like minus 1 ampere? Now, if we put this I2 value in one of the equation number 1 or 2, can we get I1 component? We have to just put the value of I2, it is equal to minus 1, and you can put in equation number 1 or equation number 2. Can we identify I1 component? Yes, Prithviraj, your answer is correct. Yes, Viswajit, your answer is also correct for the I1. So if I'm put this value of I1, sorry, I2 in one of the equation, let's say I'm putting into the first equation. So what is 6I1 minus 2 into minus 1, so it is minus 2 is equal to 28. So minus 2 will be shift to the other side of the equal sign. So it is 28 plus 2, 30. So what we will get? I1 is equal to 5 ampere. Yes. So what is I3 now? What do you mean by I3? Or what is the value of I3 now? If you want to identify the value of I3, what will be the I3? I1 plus I2. So it is 5 minus 1. So can we say that the 4 ampere current is flowing from the 2 ohm resistance? Are you getting now? Are you understand up to here how we doing this calculation? So now this is the value of current we identify I1 and I2, as well as you can identify I3 also. This is as per the loop I selected here, right? But suppose if loop number 1 and loop number 2, if I selected in the opposite direction, what will be the current I1 and I2? Can you now tell me? If the loop direction which is assigned here, if it is in the opposite direction, what will be the I1 and I2? What happen if the current loop direction, if it is reversed? Can you tell me? Yes. If you selected the current will be in the reverse condition, your I1 is equal to minus 5 ampere and I2 is equal to 1 ampere. That's it. So now I will show you that calculation. See, this is the calculation which is represented here, right? And you can see this. If you select, this is what we discussed earlier. See, at the end, you will not change the answer. You can see in this condition, whatever the value we are getting, it is not, you can say that it will shows that if you are finding out in the very correct steps, you will not having the value change at the end. That is the representation of this example. So we go ahead now. Okay, so now we going to discuss here about the node analysis or the mesh analysis for the electrical network. So that we already explained or that we already applied in our example, unfortunately. But what is the significant steps we are going to follow that I'm going to show you, right, in the mathematical as well as in the theoretical part. So first thing, that mesh, it is the loop that does not consist of any other loop inside it. The mesh analysis technique uses the mesh current as a variable instead of the current in the element to analyze the circuit. So we identify the mesh current over here, that is, you can say that for the analysis of the component, and that we represent it with the different format as we discuss also for the KVL and KCL. But this is just given in the sentence format that if you apply any mesh loop, it will not consisting any other loop inside that. So that is, you can remember, if you consider one loop already, you cannot select the another loop inside the same. So the mesh analysis technique, whatever we used to identify the mesh current as a variable component, instead of that the current in the element to analyze the circuit, right? So the second parameter here, it is given, that is the method, it is absolutely reduce the number of the equation to be solved. So mesh analysis applied the Kirchhoff voltage law that we already seen in our examples also to determine the unknown current value in the given circuit. So unfortunately, if you see this circuit, we have already done the mesh analysis here by using of KVL. So when you apply the loop in this circuit, that is actually you already apply the mesh in this circuit, you identify the mesh current I1 component, and that is given over here in this sentence format. Understood? And the third parameter, that is, you can say that the mesh analysis is also called the mesh current method or loop analysis. That is, you can say that the another name given here. So after finding out the mesh current using the KVL, the voltage anywhere in the given circuit can be determined by using of Ohm's law. So this sentence is actually indicating what? When you identify the current, it is flowing here in this, sorry, from this I1 circuit, right? Can you identify the voltage here across 4 ohm resistance by using of Ohm's law? Yes, you can do, because you know about the current is flowing in this loop, it is 5 ampere. So how much the voltage you will identify across this R1 resistance by using of Ohm's law? Can you tell me? As per the statement, we can say that whatever the mesh current once we determine, we can identify the voltage across the element. So right now your I1 current which is flowing in this mesh is equal to 5 ampere. So can you identify using the Ohm's law that how much the voltage across this R1 resistance? Yes, Vishwajit, your answer is correct. That is of 20 volt you can identify. Yes or no? So can you identify the same thing here? What will be the voltage across this R3 resistance? What will be the voltage across this R3 resistance? Can we say 1 volt across this R3 resistance we will measure? Are you getting what I'm talking to you? And same thing you can identify for the 2 ohm resistance also. What is the voltage across here? It is 8 volt. So that is the indication given over here, that when you say that it is your mesh analysis, also we call the mesh current method or loop method. So after finding out that mesh current using the KVL, the voltage anywhere in the circuit you will identify by using of Ohm's law. So this is, you can say that the significance of the mesh analysis method for the electrical network. Understood? Are you understood up to here? Just a second. Just a second. Just a second. Okay. So now the steps procedure given over here to analyze the mesh analysis technique. As we discussed earlier, that the mesh current or we identify using of the KVL, but what are the steps procedure we will follow that I'm showing over here that we already done with our example also. So now you can understand very well what is the mesh analysis technique and what is the node analysis technique afterward. So first of all, the first step over here to apply the mesh analysis technique, that the first is to check whether there is a possibility to transform all the current source in the given circuit to the voltage source or not. So this is applicable. It is when you have any current source, like we discussed that in our theoretical session, that about the types of the sources, that you will have either independent voltage source, dependent voltage source, or independent current source or dependent current source. So if you have any current source in the circuit, you need to transform into the voltage source. Now I will give you one example here. Suppose you have any circuit in which this type of the waveform or this type of the diagram is given. So can you tell me this is the independent or dependent current source? The current source which I represented here, it is the independent or dependent current source. Can you tell me? Yes, it is independent current source. So now if you have this type of the current source in the circuit, and when you will transform into the voltage source component, then what will be the circuit like? You will have like this circuit diagram. Now, if you apply the Ohm's law here, you will have 5 ampere and you will have 2 ohm here. So if you apply the Ohm's law here to identify the voltage of this battery source, how much the voltage you are getting? 5 multiplied by 2. So it is 10 volt source now. And the current direction as per given, we will identify the polarity of positive negative here. And 2 ohm resistance we will keep as it is. This is what we are doing right now, the transformation of the current source into the voltage source. Are you understand? Are you understand up to here? I'm just using the Ohm's law here. That's it. So voltage source we can obtain, right? It is from this independent current source here. Now, can you do the same thing in the reverse condition if it is applicable in the another method? Can you transform the current source into the voltage source? Yes or no? You can again use the Ohm's law also. Okay. So this is talking about the first parameter here, that when you transform this current source into the voltage source, that you have to check the possibility first of all that in the example question it is given or not. The second parameter, assign the current direction to each mesh in the given circuit and follow the same direction for each mesh. So whatever the direction you have assigned, right, that you should keep for all the element in the given circuit, and you can follow the same direction for each mesh. That is our second case given here. Now if we go for the third one, you can apply the KVL, right, into the circuit to simplify the equation. The fourth step, solve the simultaneous equation of various meshes to get the mesh current, and this equation are exactly equal to the number of the meshes present in the network. So it will actually identify that whatever the number of the meshes are available in the circuit, according to that you will get the number of the equation. That's it. When you apply the KVL, are you getting up to here? If you found any query, you can tell me. If you have any query, you can tell me also. But make sure that this fundamental, it will be clear to you, all of you. So shall we go ahead now? Okay. Now, this is one of the example we had. Can you identify the value over here? This is your example question. You have to identify I1 and I2, just like what we have done earlier. The same thing you can do over here. So first of all, identify the mesh in this circuit, and then after you can apply the KVL. And first of all, tell me that how many junction you have in this circuit diagram. Can you tell me that how many junction you have in this diagram? No, there are two sources given. You can see this is one number source, and second, this is our second number of the source. It is already given the direction here. So probably you can say that the first loop will be in the clockwise direction, and the second loop will be in the anti-clockwise direction. Yes or no? Can we say that? So if you say that this is the first loop which is clockwise direction, second loop will be in the anti-clockwise direction. So if you apply the mesh here, can we write like this: minus 10 plus 10 I1 plus 40 into I1 plus I2, as the current it is added over there. As per the direction is already mentioned here, but you can select as per the direction your choice. But make sure that the mesh you apply according to that, you will identify the current direction here. So what will be the equation here? Can we say it is 50 I1 plus 40 I2, it is equal to 10. Can we write like this? And for the second loop, if I'm directly writing here, then can we write like 40 I1? You can apply the second loop here and you can also identify this thing. Then 60 I2, it is equal to 20 as per the loop. So can you simplify this equation now and tell me that what is I1 and I2 and also I1 plus I2? Are you understand what I'm telling to you? Yes, Viswajit has already found the answer. What is minus 1 by 7, 3 by 7, by 3 is equal to 2 by 7. Okay. So all others are also requested to find out the answer quickly. What about the others? Are you identify the answer or not? Please tell me. Okay, so I will show you the steps procedure here. See, as per this, it is indicated the direction here. One is the clockwise, anti-clockwise, clockwise and anti-clockwise direction. So if you apply the KVL here, the first equation that we identify 10, 50 I1 plus 40 I2, and the second equation that you have of 20 is equal to 40 I1 plus 60 I2. So if we analyze this equation here, the I2 will be, okay, Janil, you also got your answer as per the Vijay. So right now we can see over here the I2 value, it is equal to 0.429 ampere. Yeah, some of you have written your answer not in the fraction, but if you just verify with your answer, 0.429 0.429 ampere. I just written over here in the fraction. So it is I2 value we are getting. So if you put this I2 value in one of the equation, you will get the I1 component also. It is minus point 4, sorry, 1432. And at the last, the current flowing through the 40 ohm resistance is equal to I1 plus I2, so that it is about 0.286. So those who are getting the same answer, I will just verify with this answer also. So all of you just verify your answer, and if you have completed this thing, you can tell me so we can go for the another example or another method. All of you have done this thing. Okay. So now if we go for the node analysis method. So first of all, I will show you the procedure steps, what we are going to do in the nodal analysis method. So first step that you have to identify the principal, the node, how many node you have in the circuit that you have to identify. So choose any one of the node from that and you can take as a reference node, and that node we can treat as a ground node concept. So in the our previous circuit, if you say that this is number A node and this is number B node. So if you are doing the same thing, this B number node you can take as a reference node or the ground node because it is connected with the polarity of negative sign. That's why. So that is indication over here for the first sentence given. Just a second. Just a second. I will show you again. So the first step, as I was told you, that you have to identify the principal nodes and select any node. You can say that one of them it is considered as a reference node. That is also you can consider as a ground node. Then you have to label that particular node voltage with respect to ground from all the principal node except the reference node. The third thing that you can write down the nodal equation at all the principal node equation, sorry, principal node except the reference node, and that you can do by the applying the KCL first, and then after you have to apply the Ohm's law. I will show you in the step-by-step procedure also in the example in our next session, but just keep remember these procedure steps. And the last one, solve the methods, solve the nodal equation, whatever you have obtained from the step number 3 to get the value of node voltages. Okay. So this thing we will discuss in the next session with the very much detail about the example also. So one thing we can do, the same example we are using, right? And we will identify the same values, but the apply method is the nodal analysis method. That's it. Right now in this example, we apply the mesh analysis, but in the same example, if you apply the nodal analysis method, then also we get the value of answer same that we will verify with the our calculation. Okay. So now everybody are requested to put their enrollment number in the chat box section. Now everybody just write down your okay, just a minute. One thing we can do over here, I will share with you the Google form link, so it will be easy for you also. Just a second. I will share with you in the chat box section a Google form link. You can directly fill up that link. Now you can find out the link which I already pasted in the chat box section, right? So from today onwards, I will give you the Google form link. You can just fill this form. I will get your attendance. So quickly fill this form. I will get your attendance from this form. So from now onwards, you don't need to write down your enrollment number in the chat box section. Okay. So in every lecture, I will provide this thing. So those who have written their enrollment number or those who have filled up that form, they can leave the session now. You can fill the form, Aryan. Now from today onwards, you don't have to write your enrollment number. You can just directly fill that form. So I'm directly getting your attendance from that form. Okay. So thank you very much for attending this session. So if you have filled up your form, we can end the meeting here for all.